The gym smelled like varnished floors and carnations. Cameras clicked. Our daughter Emily crossed the stage, blue gowns swishing, smile so wide it hurt my chest. I squeezed the arm of my husband David, felt the stiff muscle and the way he didn't squeeze back. He stood, took the mic from the principal as the applause thinned. "Today marks new beginnings," he said, voice polished, "for Emily and for me. Claire, this is the end of our marriage. I'm leaving you." The room inhaled and didn't exhale. Phones came up like a mechanical sunrise. Heat flushed my skin, then went ice cold. Emily's smile died mid-bloom. David looked at me with the pitying smirk of a man who thinks he's won. He didn't see the small black box in my bag. He didn't know I hadn't come unarmed. Grief had a schedule. I'd already done my time. I'd found the hotel receipt under his car seat, the encrypted messages on his tablet, the shell account in a bank with mirrored windows. And I'd found worse. Transfers routed through names that made the nightly news shutter their smiles. I had copied everything: screenshots, voice notes, a ledger that vibrated with the throb of criminal math. My hands shook, but my voice was steady as a ruled line when I stepped toward the stage. David leaned down, speaking just for me. "You're nothing without me. Then you won't mind a little nothing," I said, and lifted the black box. The projector hummed. The gym's rear wall filled with David in a hotel room, not just with a woman, but with two men whose faces had appeared beneath headlines about bid rigging and disappearances. His voice careless, confident, named dates, routes, favors. David's composure snapped. "Turn it off!" He lunged at the cable. Someone shouted. The screen held. Students started filming the screen, filming him. The present devoured the past in real time. I felt Emily's fingers slip into mine and hold on as if bracing for an earthquake. Then David's voice split into a raw scream. Not anger, fear. "If this goes public, they'll kill you and Emily," he howled, chest heaving. The crowd went silent, the word kill ringing like a tuning fork. "Claire, you don't understand who they are." Outside, a sharp pop. Another. The gym doors shuddered. Two security guards ran toward the foyer. One didn't make it. Emily's nails bit my palm. "Mom," she whispered. "Who is they?" The doors burst. A man in an understated suit and an earpiece walked in as if he owned the place. He looked at David, then at me, then at the frozen screen. He showed no badge, only a calm that made everyone else look like static. "Your evidence has painted a target on your family," he said. "We're extraction." "From who?" I asked. "From everyone." David staggered toward him. "You work for Garano," he panted. The name tasted like rust. The man didn't blink. Emily squeezed my hand harder. "Mom." A second pop. The lights flickered. The projector went black, leaving only our reflections in the polished floor. 4 silhouettes converging as panic began to surge like a tide. "Now," the man said, and the fire alarm howled. He pushed us down a service corridor that smelled of paint and panic. "Name," I said. "Noah," he answered. "Don't talk. Don't stop." David stumbled beside me, breath ragged, hatred and terror sharing a room behind his eyes. "You couldn't leave it alone," he hissed. "You should have just let me go. After you sold us?" I said. "After you sold her?" I glanced at Emily. She pretended not to hear and failed. We burst into the loading dock. A black SUV idled. The driver was already pale with urgency. As we climbed in, a bullet punched the rear quarter panel like a hammer through glass. "Mrs. Halston," he said, ignoring the gasps. "You're coming with us." Noah shoved a phone into my hand. "Your cloud backups where?" "Red Cove Storage, Unit 312. My voice sounded like someone else's. "Physical drives. Copies. Everyone thinks the evidence is the video," he said. "It's not. It's the ledger. The one he kept to stay alive." He jerked his chin at David. That's what they want. David stared out the window, refusing to look at us. It's insurance, he muttered. It was supposed to keep you safe, Claire. If I fell, they'd need me. And now you fell, I said. He flinched as if I'd struck him. We cut across the city like a thrown knife. Sirens passed us going the other way. The storage facility sat under a freeway, a concrete hive with metal doors and fluorescent hum. Noah killed the headlights and led us through a side gate, already held ajar with a folded coffee cup. Unit 312 yawned open. Cold air and dust, a steel shelf, 2 blue totes, and a fireproof case with a combination lock I could turn blindfolded. My hands knew the numbers. My heart didn't. Inside, 3 encrypted drives, a paper ledger wrapped in butcher paper, and an old photograph of us at a beach before everything hardened. Footsteps, not Noah's. He entered like a rumor turned into a man. Tan suit, soft shoes, a smile that never met his eyes. He clapped once, softly, and the sound was somehow worse than the gun held loosely at his side. Mrs. Halston, he said. The world's loudest, quiet woman. Noah shifted, body between us. Garano looked past him to David, and his smile grew tender. I expected more grace, he murmured. But perhaps this ending is better. Cleaner. He offered me his free hand. The ledger, please. Behind me. Emily's breath trembled. Mom, you'll take it, I said. And kill us anyway. Not if you help me embarrass the people who thought they owned me, Garano said. You broke their window. I would like to shove a chair through it. You give me the accounting. I give you a life offshore and a new name. I am sentimental about daughters. David laughed, a cracked sound. He'll gut you on the plane. David, Garano sighed. You sold them twice. Don't pretend morality now. Before I could answer, Noah's earpiece hissed. He paled. 2 more inbound. We're out of time. Choose, Garano said. I handed Garano a drive. He weighed it like fruit at a market, eyes on mine. Then he frowned. Too light, he said. It's the copy, I replied. The real one split across 3 keys and 1 ledger, and a time bomb in the cloud. If I don't check in, a journalist gets everything. His smile died. For the first time, he looked like a man whose day had tilted. Good, he said. Now we talk. A shout outside. The clang of the outer gate. Not Garano's men, others. The air thickened with choices. 2 figures in municipal windbreakers moved down the corridor. Guns low, expressions wrong. Not cops. Not ours. Garano sighed, stepped back into shadow, and the storage unit turned into a geometry problem with bullets. Noah shoved Emily behind a stack of boxes. I grabbed the ledger and the other drives and slid them into the fireproof case. David reached for me, and for a heartbeat, I thought he meant to shield me. Then he grabbed the case. David! Emily screamed. He ran. I chased him, bare feet on cold concrete, the case banging against his thigh. You'll kill us, I shouted, for people who will never remember your name. He glanced back, eyes wild. I'm getting you out, he yelled. This is the only way. Give them what they want and they'll forget you. He hit the external door bar and met the barrel of a gun and the man behind it, whose smile looked borrowed. Delivery, the man said, and stepped forward. David froze. So did I. And then a third figure moved in the far lot, small, quick, with a backpack. Emily. She'd followed me. She always had my worst habits. She held the black box, the one from the gym, with both hands like a grenade. Hey! She shouted. The gunman turned. She threw. The box hit the asphalt and shattered loud as a shot. The sound spun everyone a half step off their mark. David moved first, forward, not back. He smashed the case into the gunman's wrist. The shot went wild, chewing up the lot's white lines. Noah was there a breath later, tackling him. I reached Emily, grabbed her shoulders. Never do that again. She smiled without joy. You taught me. We piled into the SUV. Garano slid in last, gun stowed, smile returned. Families, he said lightly. So noisy, Noah floored it. Sirens keened somewhere we weren't. Garano looked at me. You're Cloud, he said. Disable the dead man's switch. I don't like surprises. Then don't threaten my kid, I said. He considered, then nodded. Fair. I opened the app, watched the timer blink. 12 minutes. 11. You let us go, I said, and I cut it. First we visit a friend, he said. Then we discuss Mercy. The friend lived over a jazz bar where the floor remembered every bass line. We climbed a narrow stair that smelled of varnish and secrets. An old woman opened the door before we knocked. She looked at Garano as if he were still 10 and in trouble. Hi, Nonna, he said. He introduced her as his aunt. She introduced herself as Francesca and handed me tea like I was family. I didn't drink it. She sighed, tasted it herself, and rolled her eyes at me. Garano set the drive on her table. Tell me if she's lying. She opened a laptop, slid in the drive, and began to type. Encrypted, Francesca murmured, but not stupid. She looked up. She's not lying. This is a copy. There's something missing. The ledger, I said, and the keys, and the dead man's switch, she added, glancing at my phone. 9 minutes. He hates clocks. She pointed at Garano with her chin. Make your offer clean, or you'll spend a decade dodging a ghost you created. Garano studied me. You want safety and the truth out, he said. You can't have both. I can have balance, I said. Names that matter go public. Names that keep us breathing stay sealed. Who decides which is which? He asked. I do, I said. With a journalist who hates everyone equally. He laughed once, surprised. You're the most dangerous person in this room, he said softly. Because you're reasonable. 5 minutes, Francesca noted. Garano nodded. You cut the switch. I give you 72 hours. You release what you promised to release to the people you choose. After that, we're square. And if we disappear? I asked. Then I have to find you, he said. And I'm very tired of finding things. Emily's hand found mine again. Mom, she whispered. Please. I opened the app. The timer blinked. 4 minutes. 3. I hovered over the slider. I slid to disarm. The screen asked for the master phrase. Not our wedding date, not Emily's birthday, the beach photo. The quote we'd written in the sand that day before the tide erased it. Stay with me when the water comes. I typed it. Confirmed. The clock died. My pulse kept time anyway. Good, Garano said. Now you and I will write a list. No, a voice said behind him. David. He stood in the doorway, empty hands out, face stunned by his own resolve. I'll write it, he said. I'll testify. I'll give you everything. Garano sighed. David, I sold them, David said to me. Twice. I tried to sell us a 3rd time today. I'm done. He looked at Emily. I can't fix it, but I can help her walk across another stage someday without looking over her shoulder. For the first time all day, he didn't look like a man faking the right expression. He looked like someone choosing to drown in the right ocean. 72 hours, I repeated. We go to ground. We redact civilians. We hand the rest to a journalist and a prosecutor you don't own. She had under safe. I don't own anyone, Garano said mildly. Francesca snorted. He rents. He nodded, amused. Fair, we wrote. Names, dates, accounts. The room's clock ticked like a metronome for courage. When we finished, Garano tucked the page into his jacket the way a man tucks a photo of someone he owes. Don't make me regret believing you, he said. Don't make me regret sparing you, I said. We moved to a motel with a sign that buzzed. Noah took first watch. David slept in a chair like a penitent. Emily lay beside me on the bed, whispering into the dark. "Do you still love him?" she asked. "I love the man I married," I said. "I don't know this one." "Maybe he doesn't either," she murmured. At 3:11 a.m., a car door slammed outside. Noah's silhouette shifted at the window, then relaxed. Just a drunk couple fighting about a key card. The night went back to breathing. And then my phone vibrated with an unknown number and a single text. "He won't keep the deal." The number belonged to Lena Price, the journalist who once called a senator a complicated algorithm of cowardice. I had reached out weeks ago, after my first awful discovery. She had ignored me. Now she didn't. "If he gave you 72, he plans to use 24, the text read. "Move faster," I called her. "You finally believe me? I finally watched a father self-destruct on livestream," she said. "And I finally traced a payment from a shell you showed me to a pack that shouldn't exist." "You'll keep my daughter out," I said. "I'll keep her in my prayers," she said. "Send the ledger. Now." We split the files. The worst crimes went to Lena with timestamps, masks, and, where I could, receipts. The collateral names the ones who cooked, cleaned, drove, never chose, stayed sealed. At dawn, Noah knocked, eyes hollow. "We have to move," he said. "Garano's men have been shadowed by someone else's men. That never ends in a tie." We packed. David hesitated at the door. "If I go with a prosecutor now," he said, "I lose my window with you." "You already lost it," I said gently. "This is about what you do next." He nodded once, a man finally beginning the right fall. On the way to the DA's office, a black sedan cut across 2 lanes and pinned us against a delivery truck. 3 men stepped out with the quiet confidence of people who had rehearsed this ending. Noah drew, low and fast. "Stay down," he snapped. The leader rapped the window with his gun. "Open," he said. He changed his mind. "Garano?" I asked. The man smiled, and it wasn't a yes or a no. I hit send on the last tranche to Lena. The man saw the motion, yanked the door. Noah fired. The world filled with sound and shattering. When the ringing stopped, 2 of them were on the asphalt, the third limping for cover. Sirens wailed closer. Noah's arm bled in a slow, serious way. Emily's hands shook, but her eyes were clear. David looked at me. "Go," he said. "I'll draw them off." "You're not a hero," I said. "I don't have to be," he said. "I just have to be loud." He grabbed the fireproof case empty now and ran down the alley like a decoy flare. The limping man followed. The sirens arrived. We didn't wait to see the end. The DA's conference room had walls like aquariums. Inside them, sharks with ties circled. Lena arrived in a denim jacket and a stare that filed corners off people. "You weren't exaggerating," she said after 10 minutes of scrolling. "You undersold it." The DA rubbed his temples. "This burns half the city." "Light it," I said, "and leave the civilians in the shadows." Noah's phone buzzed. He listened, jaw tightening. "David's in holding," he said. "He let himself be found. He asked me to tell you." He paused. "To tell you he's sorry in a way that doesn't ask you for anything." I nodded. It landed where it needed to, and nowhere else. At 7 p.m., Lena went live with the first wave. Names fell, accounts froze. A judge signed a sealed set of warrants that weren't sealed for long. The city made a sound I'd never heard, something between relief and grief. My inbox filled with threats and thank yous, often indistinguishable. Garano didn't call. He didn't have to. Every hour a new door opened or slammed. Emily sat beside me on the floor of our motel, head on my shoulder. "Am I safe?" she asked. "You're safer," I said. Safe is a place we visit. We don't get to live there. At 2 a.m., Francesca knocked on the motel door with a bag of sandwiches and an old revolver in a shoebox. "Don't use it," she said. "But sometimes it helps to know you could." She glanced at the TV, where Lena was reading a leaked transcript. "He kept the deal," she said. "For now, What changed his mind? I asked. You did, she said. You made it about balance instead of blood. She left the revolver anyway. There was one drive left, the one even Lena hadn't seen. It held the names that could break more than a city, the ones that could break Emily's life in a different way. I wrote a letter and put it in the fireproof case where the drive had been. If I don't make it, release everything, it said. If I do, I'll decide what the world deserves and what my daughter does. I closed the case, turned off the TV, and let the dark sit with us, like an old friend who never runs out of time. A week later, the school held a second ceremony for students whose day had been stolen. Emily walked again. The applause was smaller, louder, truer. I didn't look for David. I didn't look for Garano. I looked at my daughter and the way her smile came back piece by honest piece. On the way out, a man fell into step beside me. Clean shoes, no scent, a shadow wearing politeness. 72 hours, he murmured. You met them. I did, I said. He nodded. Expect a call. It came that night. Garano. We're even, he said. Are we? I asked. For now, he said. But you kept something. I can feel the weight of it from here. Maybe it's just a photograph, I said. He chuckled. You're dangerous, Mrs. Halston. Stay dangerous. The line clicked. The room breathed. Emily slept. I watched her and the moon on the carpet and tried to remember the exact shape of peace. 3 days later, someone knocked 3 quick taps. Pause. 2 more. I opened the door to find a small package with no return address. Inside, a drive twin to mine and a note in Francesca's careful hand. When he forgets who he works for, remind him. I smiled, despite myself. Balance. Lena's story detonated in waves. People we'd never met lost their jobs, and others we'd never meet kept their lives. The DA called it a necessary amputation, which was the kind of truth that sounded like a lie. One night, months later, we sat on a cliff above the ocean, where we'd taken the photo in the ledger box. Emily threw pebbles, each one a small comet burning out on the surf. Are we done? She asked. No, I said. We're alive. That's better. A figure approached along the path. The shape was familiar. The gait, the way the shoulders carried regret like luggage. David. He stopped a few feet away. Hands visible, eyes clear. I have news, he said. You won't like it. Behind him, on the path, 2 more shapes appeared. Neither moved like they were here for the view. The wind shifted. The ocean waited. Emily's hand tightened in mine. David swallowed. They found out about the last drive. The pebbles in Emily's palm went still. I stood, the old revolver heavy in my bag, the new life heavy in my chest. Then, I said, voice steady as the line where sea met sky, we finish what we started. And behind us, from the dark below the cliff, a second voice rose familiar, accented, almost amused. Or, Garano called up. We start something else. To be continued.